Santa Maria will put up a three. Bang! Santa Maria!
Here's Warner. Here comes a headed jam. Counted for two. The field. Adios! And the Falcons win on a walk-off. And it's saved.
What a game. Cortez smacked to the left. That is gone.
Lob for Perez. That's my play. Off the backboard. Counting and a win. And a win. Ryan Perez wins the game for the Santa Rosa Warriors, and they go.
What's going on, guys? Kevin Howard here, back for another edition of Talkin Football. We're coming to you live from Brownsville, Texas, at Rio Hondo in Brownsville, Texas, in a new spot here in the Cadillac section, more like a nice and luxurious spot here at the dealership. As always, Rudy Zamaripa Jr. back there manning the cameras, joined by Ruben Rodriguez and John Trevino. Guys, welcome.
How's it going, Kev?
What's up, Kev?
So, guys, we were able to get week 3 in the books, and we're on the road to week 4. Week 3 came and went.
Yeah, you know, it was just one of those weeks that everyone looked forward to it, especially the big games in the Valley, and all of a sudden, blink of an eye, it was gone.
It was back and forth battles, a lot of great games that are exciting. It was exciting, like just getting through it, and now we're ready to go, and I'm excited for week 4. So,
does it always start? You know, as a former player, does it always go by this fast? Where you guys are having 2-a-days, you have that week 1 butterflies, week 1 comes and goes, and all of a sudden you blink. We're week 4, and we're at that point in the season where we have the 6A's and the 4A's and their buys. Some districts already have started. Some districts are fixing to get started, and it gets here quick.
Yeah, no, once you get past 2-a-days, that's usually the longest parts. The summer workouts are pretty brutal, pretty tough, and then you get 2-a-days, everything gets a little bit easier from there, and then once the season starts, it's every time you blink, a new game's popping up in the schedule.
And for you guys, you guys were at games, covering games throughout the week. Obviously, the big game on the schedule, one we didn't cover, was the PSG North Vela game. But for starters, the games that you guys covered, Ruben, we'll start with you. What stood out for you this past week?
Oh, Friday I was at Sam Stadium here doing a 16-5A matchup between Porter and Pace. It was a back-and-forth battle, but what we did see was we saw Brandon Nevada's and Ivan Gonzalez. That deal in the backfield, it just took control. Gonzalez being our Real Sports Live player of the game for that game. We just dominated outing. I'm going to be covering them back tomorrow night at Sam's when they take on Nicky Road in another 16-5A Division I matchup, so I'm just excited to see how that plays out.
And as far as me, I covered 2 games last week. Thursday, I was at Richard R. Florida Stadium in Edinburgh. I had Edinburgh High taking on Juarez Lincoln. Edinburgh High took their first win of the season, and coincidentally, it was the first win under Rene Guzman's his new helm there at Edinburgh High. So a special win for him. He's an alum, so special shout out to him going back to his home place and getting his first win. That's always special. And on Friday night, I covered Edinburgh North against John E. Economides High School once again at Richard R. Florida Stadium, and Edinburgh North came out and dominated. They look like an extremely good team who can really throw the ball.
You know, for Edinburgh North, we'll get into it later in the show, but that's a big win for them. They took their lumps early in the year in the non-district portion. They get that win against Decon. Now they're going to have Mission coming up next. But going back to the Edinburgh, how big was that win for Coach Guzman to get that first win under his belt?
You know, especially taking a program that he's coming in already with the senior quarterback. Once they got Rolando Obligo going, you could tell that the train was ready to roll, and he rushed for about 125 yards last week. He was our player of the game, and you can just tell once they won how emotional it was for the kids, how emotional it was for Coach Guzman to be back where he played high school football, then to get a big win like that.
And for you, any other games that maybe that you didn't cover that you saw and said, man, like that game stood out or that game stood out?
Well, the PSG North Edinburgh game, that game was an absolute shootout. Edinburgh Valley continuing to prove that why they're one of the top-ranked teams, if not the top-ranked team in the Valley. So now, like I said, rolling into week 4, hopefully they can try to continue that momentum and try to cap off a great season. So
it was 24-0. Not much of a shootout there. Edinburgh Valley.
Well, it was kind of build to be a shootout, but
it was 24-0.
Yeah.
But I think the thing we learned there for sure was that one, the question was for Edinburgh Valley, like, okay, you beat Harlingen. That was test number 1. Their second test of the year came against PSG North, and what can they do against that offense with Isaac Gonzalez, Ale Aparicio, Jack Lugo, and John? You know that defense just as well as anybody. I mean, just they're for real. So if there were any questions going into week 4, I think those have all been put to rest.
Yeah, they played in the 3 games that they played 3 extremely tough offenses to match up against. Week 1, they played McCallum Memorial, who on average will get about 200, 250 rushing yards per game, and they shut them down for a total of 138 yards of total offense week 1. They come out and they play Harlingen. They completely stiff Harlingen. In week 2, that one was at Richard R. Florida Stadium, and in week 3 they go too far at the FAR Stadium, and they shut out the Raiders and what was supposed to be the matchup for them. And every week you're going to hear, oh, it's going to be a huge test for Vela. Realistically, we know Vela has a good offense every single year. The test that always comes is, can the defense play? And this year they can. This might be one of the best programs, if not, it is the best defense in program history.
And that comes a lot from you because you were on one of those better defenses. When we look back at it, like, we saw it more as of a defensive battle because with PSA North has defensively, what Vela has defensively, but it's safe to say that they passed that test this past week against PSA North or against Edinburgh Vela. What stood out for me was Harlingen South. You know, they went on the road at Alice, albeit Alice is a young 4A team, but that's a team that's going to be competing with Cal Allen, Tolosa Midway, that tough 4A district. But for South to win a ground and pound type game, a physical football game on the road in the Sky Dome, 14-7. I mean, that was about as interesting a 14-7 game can be. Because, you know, you look at the score and say, oh, it was only 14-7, but no, it had every twist and turn you can think of. You know, that defense really did a lot of growing up. They're going to go into their bye week feeling pretty good about themselves, being 3-0. So I think that's going to be a team to keep an eye on. They're going to play Hannah. They have a bye week this week. They're going to have Hannah next week to kick off district. And what a better way to start there for Harlingen South. So recapping the scores in week 3 on Thursday, Mission Veterans, they got their first win of the year. They beat Valley View 59-14. Nicky Roll all over Brownsville Lopez 57-17. Like you mentioned, Edinburgh High getting their first win against Wattis Lincoln 48-0. Marine Military Academy blanking Monte Alto 36-0. Roma beating PSJ Southwest 37-14. So those were Thursday scores. Into Friday, Harlingen South 14, Alice 7. San Benito beat Churches Clemens at home 13-7. That was an impressive win for San Benito. They too, they're 3-0. We'll talk about them in just a little bit. McAllen Memorial all over Palmview 53-9. Westlaco 49, Laredo Nixon 2. Harlingen bounced back. They beat Laredo United at home 38-14. Back High beating Donna 26-14. Brownsville Veterans 24, Westlaco East 17. Brownsville Pace 41, Brownsville Porter 17. Brownsville Nevada 33, Rio Hondo 13. Edinburgh Vela 24, PSJ North nothing. Hidalgo 27, Rio Grande City 7. Feria 39, Donna North 17. Sherryland, they beat Ed Cauchosa and was a really good game in that district, 31-21. That's another game that stood out. Edinburgh North blanks Edinburgh Economies 53-0. Cal Allen beating Los Fresnos at home 27-7. Mission 42, La Jolla 20. Mercedes 56, PSJ Memorial 7. La Villa 26, Santa Rosa at 19 in the Sugar Bowl. PI went on the road. They won 41-7. And then in the Cotton Bowl, Raymondville beat Lyford 30-14. Quick shout out to Coach Tony V. He got career win 200 this past week with a win at Port Aransas. So those are the scores. Lots of football in week 3.
Yeah, no, with football season back, we're going to see this every week where it's like you blink and there's going to be about, especially on Friday nights, we'll have about close to 16 games going on at the same time, and it's just you're trying to keep up. I know during halftime, between our actual Rio Sports Live group chat, we're trying to update you guys on all the scores on the games that you're not watching, so we're all texting each other, trying to figure out who's winning, who's doing what. But for the most part, it's an extremely competitive valley, and this year it's been a lot of fun so far.
So on the other side of the break, we're going to be joined by first-year head coach from Brownsville Veterans Memorial. That's Coach Kelley Lee. So when we return, Coach Lee will be joining us up next. You're watching Rio Sports Live.
For enriching education. From pre-K3 to early college high school, the award-winning district has advanced its legacy in curriculum, athletics, and fine arts. Teachers are driving the frontier of technology, bringing industry to the classroom. On and off the field, Brownsville ISD students engage in the experiences that make them college and career ready. Brownsville Independent School District, the best choice.
And he throws it down. See you later, touchdown.
And Luke for your Motors, we're moving forward. Same great service, same great people, same great cars and trucks, and these great white letters. Our vision is crystal clear. Luke for your Motors. we're on the move.
We're the Lady Cougars, and you're watching Real Sports Live.
Here at Texas A&M University, Kingsville, we are a family. We support each other through thick and thin. We work together, grow together, excel together. We inspire each other to become the great minds of the future. We are here to ensure you succeed. Apply today to get started. This is your time.
It down.
See you later, touchdown.
I love what I do. I really
love what
do.
I'm doing. I love children.
One of the most important things to do is to love your students.
Imagine teachers like these helping your child prepare to change the world. Take a closer look at Mission CISD.
We're the Hot in the South Lady Hawks, and you're watching Real Sports Live. Awesome!
Service is attitude. How far are we willing to go to service our community, our dealership here at Fruya, and you? Sky's the limit.
We're the Ray Texans, and you're Welcome back to Luke Furia Motors. Energetic place, huh, Coach?
Yes, sir.
It's always fun coming out here.
Great atmosphere.
Luke Furia Motors here in Brownsville, Texas. Kevin Arrow, as promised, joined by first-year head coach Kelley Lee. Coach, thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Appreciate you having me.
So, Coach, how are you sitting in the chair over at BVM? What has these first few months been like for you?
It's been good. You know, as a whirlwind getting going, you know, adjusting to everything. But, you know, our kids really bought in. We had a great off season, and it moved right into a good summer. And now we're off to a decent start. So things have been well.
So when you first heard about the job in Brownsville, how did you hear about it, and what made you apply for it?
Well, actually, as a guy I was coaching with, Mike Salinas, who's the head coach at Texas A&M in Kingsville, a friend of mine, he knew that I liked the Valley. He knew that I was thinking about making a transition to high school, and I told him if there was a job down there that he thought was a good job, and he when that job came open at Brownsville, he said, "Hey, I think this is a good spot. You might want to look into it." Applied, went through the interview process, got to come down and see it, and great school, great atmosphere. Thought it was a perfect fit.
Had you ever been down to South Texas before?
Yeah, we actually come down here. We spent a few Christmases out on the island,
okay.
So we've liked South Texas. Love the food, love the people, and the atmosphere. So you know, it was a desirable transition for us.
Yeah, and for you living in Brownsville, you just catch 48 in South Padres right there.
Yeah, right there. Short trip. Get over, eat dinner, go fishing. So it's nice.
So when did you guys make the move down here? Was it in the off season or was it last year?
Yeah, I got down here in March, and my family finished up school, and then they came on down in May when they got out of school. So.
And Coach, moving down here to the Valley, obviously in a pandemic year, was it just as hard as any other year trying to make the transition, moving from New Mexico where you were down to Texas?
Yeah, I think it was more difficult just because you didn't have connection with all your kids right away. You know, some of them were back in school, some of them were remote, some of them were coming up to work out, but you didn't see them any other than the workouts, and you're trying to reconnect them and find them. Some of them hadn't really had any connection with the coaches, with the coach leaving till, you know, I was hired. So it was kind of a fact-finding mission. You were almost a prospector, finding kids, but you know, it was exciting to get them plugged back and let them get back to some sense of normalcy.
Now, for those that don't know, is this your first stop in high school football, or have you had previous stops? You know, we'll get to the college in just a little bit, but what?
Yeah, I've coached high school football and college back and forth a few times. The previous 9 years, I'd been at Eastern New Mexico University, NCAA Division II school, but before that, I was the head coach at Valencia High School in New Mexico, athletic coordinator there, and I'd done college and high school prior, so a little bit of both.
Okay, and let's talk about that. Your 9-year tenure over in the college ranks. Just what was that like for you, becoming a head football coach in D2?
Well, it was rewarding because that was a place where I got my master's degree. I was a graduate assistant. A friend of mine got the head coach. I went as the offensive coordinator. We turned around a program and had some success and enough success that when he took another job, they wanted to stay within and promoted me to the head coach, and then we had a really good run. And so, you know, it was fun, it was rewarding, but we're at a point in time where my family wanted to make a transition. My kids are getting to the age where I really wanted to be able to see them play sports and do things. They're 9 and 11. So it just, with COVID, you know, you got some time to put some things in perspective. Seemed like a great time to make a change.
And while you're in the college ranks, you know, you saw, you know, obviously you go through it, the recruiting deal and just what it's like to run a college program. Just how difficult it was, a coach, having to deal with COVID and the recruiting. And, you know, with kids that we talk to down here that signing their letter of intent, they say, man, it was so hard trying to sign a letter of intent or to even get noticed because scouts couldn't exactly go to games. They had to be more virtual. Just so how difficult was that year?
It was difficult. Some places didn't play your senior year, so you didn't have any senior film to evaluate. So you're evaluating off junior film. If you were evaluating seniors, you know they didn't have much of an off season, you know, to get going. And then the NCAA gave all the kids an extra year of eligibility, which was great for kids, but it really hurt the seniors in high school because there was a lot less scholarship opportunities because all those seniors in college could come back. So there was less opportunities, less film available. So it really was tough for those seniors that graduated last year, and it was a different process for sure.
You know, and this year we're still seeing the effects of COVID. Even to the junior high level, where I went and visited my junior high a few weeks ago, and they say, man, like it's a different task these years because the kids just seem checked out, you know, because it's hard for them to just jump back into athletics after being home for a year. Was it that way? Do you see it that way in the college level, where that effect, where kids are being backed up a year, they lose a year of eligibility, the recruiting, everything gets put a year behind?
Yeah, we talking to a lot of my friends that are still coaching college, and everyone feels like it's about a 5 or 6 year return to normalcy.
That's what
it'll take until we're really back to what we consider normal recruiting practices and policies. So it's definitely different. I know even here with our kids, they were doing really well in camp, and then school started. Well, they hadn't been back to school in person, some of them, for a long time. So then adjusting to going to class and doing football, it took them about a week or two to where they could really do both and be able to still focus. So, you know, but getting back to normal is important, giving kids something to believe in and belong to, and so we're excited about continuing that.
I understand you want a bowl game.
Sure,
your last hoorah over at Eastern New Mexico. What was that like?
Oh, that was fun. We, you know, in Division II, a lot of people don't know there's only 176 schools, and then 24 make the playoffs. And if you don't make the playoffs, there's only 3 bowl games. So we were lucky enough. We didn't make the playoffs, but we got to go to a bowl game, represent our conference, and it was in Midlothian, Texas. It was the Heritage Bowl, and we won, and that was a great way. And didn't know at the time that was going to be the last game I coached there, but it's a great memory thinking back on it.
So for those that don't know or might not be familiar, what exactly is the jump from coaching college into coaching high school? Like, are you a little more patient with the kids, or what's that like?
Yeah, you do. You probably do. I don't know if I've gotten any more patient. My players probably say I'm not any more patient. I probably am. I kind of haven't really changed any of my expectations, but I think that's a good thing. That gives us something too. I tell them I'm not going to lower to whatever your expectation is. You got to rise to what our expectation is. So. But there's a little bit different. There's a learning curve. You don't have as much meeting time with kids. Okay. You know, I think in NCAA you get your kids 20 hours a week. In high school you get them for 8. You know, so you have less time to meet. You're not going to practice any longer or less. But in college you got a lot more time to meet with your kids and those things. But I think the biggest adjustment's really been the COVID more than high school to college. It's just all what we missed during COVID, trying to get back. You know, all that time.
So you make the transition from college to high school. You get here to Brownsville Veterans. This school district's the largest in the region, so it's a heck of a district to be a part of. You got Pace, you have Lopez, you have Porter, you know, this good camaraderie of coaches, all 6 of you guys.
Right.
So far, how have you liked joining the BISD staff?
Oh, well, it's great. I mean, Gilbert Leal's phenomenal as our athletic coordinator, and so all the other athletic coordinators and head coaches in BISD, everyone gets along, works well with each other. I got a great principal with Linda Gallegos that's great to work for, extremely supportive. So I really feel like I hit the lottery, got a great situation.
So you show up to campus. What was your first meetings like with your boys, and And some people say, well, what does it mean he's installing a new system? He's trying to get the kids to drink the Kool-Aid.
Right.
What was that like for you making that transition?
Well, it was good. I mean, with the coaches that were here, were able to round up most of the players, so we were able to have a meeting and kind of outline what our plan for the spring and summer were. And then, thankfully, with the new rules UIL came up with during COVID, we were able to have that hour of skill time that we could spend with them, and during the summer and stuff. So that really helped the process because you're not having to wait till August to start installing stuff. So, in our offense, we are a flexbone team. It's a little bit different, something they hadn't done around here since they started the school and Coach Guess was there. So that was nice to have that hour to work with them every day.
That's my next question. Under David Gantu, this has been a spread. And, I had covered plenty of their teams and said, wow, so they're not running the spread anymore. They're going from the spread to a run-based offense.
Right.
So you have a very good track record with that offense. So what exactly do you run?
We run the flexbone. We coined it the ground strike offense, kind of the opposite of the air raid. But we're a double slot, triple option team. We look very similar to Navy or Army if you ever watch those teams play. That's kind of our style. And we throw the ball a little bit more than most option teams or the option teams that have been in the Valley recently. I told our guys the other day, last year Veterans was a spread team and they threw 2 touchdown passes in their 7 games. We're a triple option team and we've thrown 5 in the first 3. You know what I mean? So, we don't throw the ball a lot, but we like to say when we throw it, we mean it.
Right.
We're not going to throw a lot of short hitches and stuff and 5-yard passes. If we want 5 yards, we're going to try to get it running the ball. When we throw the ball, we're trying to capitalize on aggressive defensive backs and get the big play.
It's a very unique offense, Coach, especially here in the RGV because we can name them off on one hand. Ed Calchelsa runs the wishbone.
Right.
PSJ Southwest, I know under Mike Evans, most recently ran it.
Right.
Now you guys run it. Tony V back now at PI. He's in that nasty slot.
Right.
So it's a dime a dozen. It's I don't want to say is it a dying breed? kind of like bunting in baseball, where you really don't see it that much.
I think at some levels it is. I don't think it necessarily is in the high school level, particularly in Texas, because you can still cut block, and that's a big part of the offense. But at the Division I level, it is because it's hard to recruit because a lot of those guys' ultimate goal is to get to the NFL.
Right.
And so that's kind of a tough sell sometimes, even though some of the schools like Georgia Tech were able to still send a lot of players to the NFL. But I think that hurts it. But when you go down to the Division I AA level, most of the good teams at that level run the option. The Sam Houston States, the Wofford, Citadel, Appalachian State. So sometimes when it's all about winning, it's still a pretty relevant offense. But when it's about recruiting, sometimes not necessarily because it can hurt you in recruiting.
So just how unique is it? Because I got to see Tony V and PI week 1, and that nasty slot, when it's on point, it's difficult to stop. And to me, obviously, I'm not a coach, but I'm just saying, man, how do they not stop it? They know it's going to be a run. They still can't stop it. And just what makes that offense so unique, and just how long did your boys, part of a 2-part question, but how long did your boys take that to get accustomed to this new look offense?
Well, I think we're still getting accustomed. I'm not real satisfied with where we're at yet, but we're making progress. There was a point during the Porter game to the Weslaco game where we scored on 10 straight possessions, either a touchdown or field goal between the 2 games. So, that's pretty good productivity for anything.
Right.
But we're still not where we want to be. But I think whether you're running the wing tee, the slot tee, the flex bone, I think what makes it difficult is really all about angles. And you can formation and put your guys in angles where they might know where the play's coming, but you've got a better angle to make that block. And it gives your kids a chance to be successful, even if they're undersized, even if they're not, maybe physically as big or as strong as the other team. You give them an angle, you give them a chance, and then if they buy into that and execute, it can be difficult to stop.
And I know Tony V with his nasty slot, when he ran that at Weslaco, he had 3-4 different running backs that made his offense successful. He's starting to do the same thing. Monty Stumball, he also runs a run-based offense, to name the 4th, possibly the 5th. But again, it's a handful of teams run it down here. Are you more of the same, where you got to have 3 or 4 different running backs? Or?
Yeah, we consider ourselves a 3-back offense. We're playing with 3 running backs every snap, and then for us, obviously, the quarterback runs a lot too. So we got 4 guys that could carry the ball in any play. And people say you balance first run pass, and we say we got balance, 4 people carry the ball. Some people throw it, the spread and run it, but one guy runs it, and they throw most of the passes to another guy. How balanced is that? You know 2 guys are getting the ball, where some of our offenses, all 4 guys can get the ball. So we find balance in a different way. We define it differently and find it in a different way.
Forgive me, I made the mistake. It was about 2 in the morning. You got your first win against Brownsville Porter in your district opener, and then you picked up a big win against Westlake East, a team who primarily, like you, like to run the football.
Right.
And I laughed in my head when he said, we're going to throw the ball, because Coach Brigette says the same thing every year.
Yeah,
He's
yeah,
a
yeah.
run-based officer. We're going to throw the ball this year. It's like,
Right.
I don't know, you're not. You're
Right.
going to run the football,
Right.
Coach Brigette. But, I mean, that's an impressive win against Westlake East. You guys are 2-0 in a team it's a 10-team district. It's a marathon and not a sprint. So just how key is that, getting off to a 2-0 start?
Well, when you in a district like that where there's so many teams and you're all competing for 4 spots, I think every time you pick up a district win, it's important. Then when you do it against a traditional power team like Westlake East, it adds that much more to it. It puts you in a good position. Like I told our kids, it should send them a message that they can compete against everyone, you know, that we're going to play. We're not the kind of team that's going to walk out and just beat anyone. We're going to have to play well week in and week out at our A game. But it shows them that it's possible, you know, and that we can, if with good preparation, we can go out there on any given Friday night and get a W.
Let's go more in depth on that win against Westlake East. What was maybe a turning point for you, or something that you saw that maybe swung that game in your favor?
Well, we jumped out to 17-0 lead, and that's important, especially when the other team likes to live running the ball like we do, you know, and they know we run the ball. In their mind, they're sitting there and there's not a lot of possessions left.
Right.
So then that kind of takes them out of their element. They're throwing the ball, and that's not their forte. So that was important. But I think the big thing was our defensive line and linebackers did a great job stopping the run early. You know, we loaded the box. We were able to get them out of their comfort zone. We didn't get pushed around, and that kind of set the tempo on both sides of the ball. So I think our guys controlling the front on offensive defensive line was the key.
Going back to your run-based offense, coaches, we've seen that it's a double-edged sword. You know, week 1 we had Tino Villarreal from St. Joe join us, and he was playing against Tony V, a guy who runs his nasty slot, and Tino runs a spread up-tempo offense.
Right.
And we talked about the pros and cons of running an up-tempo offense, where you can score quick when you're going against an offense like a slot T, where they're going to limit your possessions, and you can have the ball for 8 minutes and score. What's your side on that, on just the pros and cons of running a spread and then running a run-based offense?
Well, you know, when you're run-based, if the adage is if you get behind, right?
Right.
You know,
That's the
thing. You can, a lot of times you feel like you can still score, but the time it might take you to score is working against you, because the game can get shortened and you just don't have as many possessions. So sometimes you start doing things that maybe you don't want to do, and now you're out of your element. The flip side to it is you can usually dictate the tempo of the game. You know, if you want to shorten the game and limit it to possessions, you can do that. If you get ahead, you can make it real difficult for the other team to get the ball back. So if your defense needs rest, you can lengthen. So, you know, ideally, you know, we'd all like to be Alabama, who could go tempo when they want to and then pound the ball to close the game, or Clemson or Georgia. But most of us aren't that luxury. We got to pick a side and either sling it around and be fast and try to score a lot of points, or run the ball and control the tempo, you know. And I think most coaches realize there's a downside or an upside to both of those, you know. And if you got the best players, you can do anything you want. The rest of you better get a philosophy and stick to it.
Absolutely. So what's next for you guys?
We got Mackay this week,
Okay.
a good football team, big district game. They're a little beat up. We're a little beat up. So, you know, but it'll probably be the team where some of the backups and those guys step up. It'll be the team that comes out victorious. You know what I mean?
With what you can share, what are maybe some things that, as far as the scheme-wise, some challenges that they might present to you all?
Well, it's a little challenging right now because by nature they're kind of an air raid spread team that wants to throw it around. Their quarterback's got a groin injury that kind of hampered him a little bit, and he didn't finish the game. We're anticipating he's going to play, but they brought in the backup, and he's a running quarterback. So now you got a spread team that can really run the ball with the quarterback run game, and really he brought him back from a 14-0 deficit, and they did it running the ball out of the spread. And then you've got the other quarterback who's a true pocket passer. So right now, for us, we're having to prepare for basically 2 different systems. Even though the formations are the same, what they do with the 2 quarterbacks is night and day.
Right.
So it's almost like having 2 game plans this week.
Yeah, Coach Shelby definitely has a good track record with his OC work at Westlake and at Edinburgh Villa. Coach, before we let you go, any shout-outs or any thank yous that you want to give?
Well, I think, I'm really proud of our boys. You know what I mean? And they really come and worked hard, bought into the system, played a great game. And we got some fantastic parents that are, feeding us on the night before the game and providing snacks and things like that for our away games. And we just appreciate all that support. And then obviously our administration, superintendent and Coach Leal and Dr. Gallegos, principal, have done nothing but help us get off to such a great start.
Perfect. That's Brownsville Veterans first-year coach, Coach Kelley Lee. Coach, thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Appreciate
Happy to have you.
me.
Good luck this week.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
When we come back, Rocky James will be joining us. You're watching Rio Sports Live.
Josh Moody and Coach Rolly Gonzalez of Josh Moody Loans are former Harlingen Cardinals and would like to wish all the teams good luck in tonight's games.
At HCISD, we embrace the future.
We learn to communicate.
At HCISD, we put our best foot forward.
At HCISD, we
make noise!
At HCISD, we learn that the smallest of moments can make the deepest impressions.
At HCISD, we are creating the future together.
We are Santa Rosa and you're watching Rio Sports Live.
Forever Memories Antiques and Collectibles, located at 237 North Sam Houston in San Benito, is filled with vintage items, collectibles, and a selection of vinyl records that's as good as it gets. Every shelf, every aisle, and table is filled daily by a number of vendors that ensures that something here just might be the item you have to have. The vinyl record area helps bring an added atmosphere that makes for the fun trip when stepping back in time with the memories. Forever Memories, Antiques and Collectibles in San Benito.
We are Edinburgh Bella and you're watching Rio Sports Live.
Sherryland ISD, a nationally recognized district focusing on quality and rigorous instruction where every child is immersed in a culture of academic success. A district dedicated to preparing our youth for the future. Our mission is to inspire, educate, and empower all students to reach their full potential and become leaders of the highest moral character. Sherryland ISD, excellence is our tradition.
We are La Villa and you're watching Rio Sports Live.
Uniforms, etc., you're going to find the opportunity to purchase the best high-quality scrubs. Soon after I learned about how the EDC was helping out the community, and so I did meet with Ms. Castillo. She made it very easy, very friendly, and she walked me every step of the way. I couldn't have done it without their help.
Come visit our new store in downtown Harlingen. We have furniture, appliances, clothes, collectibles, and more. All funds collected support the Sunny Glen Children's Home. Come see us at Vintage on Jackson at First and Jackson in Harlingen.
I love what I do. I really
love what
do.
I'm doing. I love children. One of the most important things to do is to love your students.
Imagine teachers like these helping your child prepare to change the world. Take a closer look at Mission CISD.
This game is brought to you in part by the Concession Stand in Santa Rosa, a locally owned business providing a terrific atmosphere before or after the games and supporting athletes of all ages. When you're in Santa Rosa, be sure to stop by the Concession Stand and choose from the wide assortment of goodies. An advertising partner with Rio Sports Live is the Concession Stand. Music lovers, you have to stop and see the assortment of records, tapes, and records memorabilia at Forever Memories today. Located at 237 North Sam Houston in San Benito, Texas, there's over 10,000 records on display and more coming every day. Looking for your favorite album from the past, first pressings, collectibles, how about a 45 with a single you just have to have? Freddie Fender, Johnny Cash, Hank Williams, Elvis, Beatles, blues, rock, classics, Tejano, it's all here. Organized and priced for you, Forever Memories, 237 North Sam Houston, San Benito.
We are La Villa and you're watching Rio Sports Live.
Whether you're visiting or...
All right, welcome back to Rio Sports Live at Luke Faria Motors in Brownsville, Texas. Kevin Arrow joined by Rio Hondo head coach Rocky James. Coach, welcome aboard.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
So, Coach, we are in week 4 already, and, like I was telling the guys, you guys have 2-a-days. By the time you know it, it's scrimmages, week 1, and then you blink, and you guys are already on the brink of district play.
Yes, very excited. We've gone through 2 scrimmages, 3 football games. Last year we didn't have any of this, so where we are right now with basically 5 games under our belt, I'm very, very happy and very excited for these kids and the community, everybody involved, the cheerleaders, the band, our administration. It's awesome to be able to get back out there and do what we love to do and even do what these kids love to do, which is play football. So we're really excited that where we are right now. I know it seems like it's a small piece, but it's actually very, very exciting for us.
You know, does it always get here this fast? Where it's, you know, like I said, the scrimmages come and go.
Well, I'll tell you, it's gotten a lot faster this year, I think, because we didn't have it last year and we missed it so much that I think this year has gone super fast. Even for me, I think I missed it so much last year that we're just excited each and every day going outside. Even practicing with these kids has been a treat for us. So yes, it's gone fast. I mean, once you get through week 1, it seems like after that it's just all downhill. You got your scrimmage and another scrimmage, and you got your games. And luckily we have a bye week this week, which is a little time to slow down a little bit and take a little time off. We took Monday off, and then we got back at it yesterday, and we'll practice the rest of the week, but give us a little bit of time to relax.
Last we talked, you guys were getting ready for PSJ Memorial. Previous to that, we covered your scrimmage. So just when you guys put it in a nutshell, I forgot the number, but it was a crazy number of when the last time you guys played football.
Oh, yeah, it was over 600 days.
It was wild, and people were like, wow, really? I said, yeah, it's a big deal, you know. When you guys wrapped up your second scrimmage, just what was the collective, we'll take a step back, and just, you know, what was the collective thought for you guys being able to wrap up the scrimmage?
Well, really, scrimmage 1 was at La Villa, and, you know, we felt really good about it. You know, it was a good scrimmage for us and for them. We got a lot of work in. They got work in. Our second scrimmage was with Lyford, and we got a lot of work in that week also. So we were really excited that had all transpired, but you know, we were worried. You know, I know COVID's still out there, and we're afraid games can be taken from us, and so we try to play every game like it's our last game, because it possibly could be your last game. So for our kids, we're not taking anything for granted. So each and every week, we're enjoying the process, the 3 days of practice, the Thursday, the walkthroughs, and then get to play on Friday night. So it's been awesome.
And, you know, having, you know, last year being shut down, you know, just how difficult was that for you to break that news to the boys?
I think they felt it coming on. It was part of, you know, the school board, and they kept moving the start date. And so I think a little bit at a time. It wasn't something that we said right before football started, it's over. It was being pushed and pushed, just like Port Isabel and Raymondville. And PI, I think, got 1 game in, and Raymondville might have got 2 games in before the playoffs. And so it was all of us. It just kept getting pushed. And so it wasn't as hard at the end. At the end, saying that we're not going to play was very difficult for those seniors who at least wanted to play 1 game, if not 2 games. They would have been happy with that. So taking that away was difficult. But I think through those weeks and weeks and weeks, I think everybody kind of figured we're not going to play. You know, I started feeling that kind of earlier on. I was worried the way things were going. I was like, I would tell my coaches, I don't even think we're going to get an opportunity to play this year. And so sure enough, that's what ended up happening. And it was tough. We were able to play all our other sports, a real shortened volleyball season, like a 2-week season. And then we went into all the other sports and just condensed it. As a district, we condensed it and didn't have sub-varsity, didn't have junior high. So I have 3 freshman varsity players, and the last time they were on the field was as 7th graders. Wow. And so one's a quarterback. And so when we played against Juarez Lincoln, his name's Ruben Atkinson, and when he got hit by this kid, he was like, I wish I was still back in 7th grade, Coach. He finally got a varsity hit on him.
Good.
And so it was pretty neat. He was like, last time I played, Coach, I was in 7th grade. And when you put that in perspective, you're like, wow, man, a lot of our kids not playing that 1 school year, it was very difficult. I don't think it set us back too far back. I think these kids are all football players, and the work we put in each and every day, I think gets them up to speed. I think not getting reps might have hurt us a little bit, but I don't think we're too far behind. I think we're all right.
You guys get the win against Juarez Lincoln. You guys get the win against PSJ Memorial. Recently, you guys lose to a tough Rivera team who's been giving a lot of teams some fits and are expected to be competitive in 32-6A. But I was just very impressed. I shouldn't say surprised anymore, because I was the kind where I've seen athletes and say, man, they missed 3 weeks. There may be a little bit of rust, whether it's an injury or a bye week. There's got to be some kind of rest. Then I see these kids just suit up and go out and ball out. It's like, good grief. And then it wasn't as clear as day when I go out to your scrimmage. I'm like, oh, I don't know what to expect. You know, I know what these boys have, but just how quickly are they going to be able to play football? Ethan Jarediah just stole the show. Like, okay, these kids can play. So, you know, what as coaches looking at that, saying like, man, like these kids, like you said, these are just athletes that can just go out there and play. You guys feel that same way when you saw, or what was like the, I don't want to say expectation, but what was the measuring stick you guys were looking for?
As coaches, you always have high expectations of all your kids, and you want the best out of all of them. Whether it's in the classroom or on the field, you want what's best. And so Ethan, Zachariah, these guys, I knew what they were going to bring to the table. Manny Flores, I had a really good sophomore group who didn't get to play as juniors and are now seniors. So the first week of practice, we had like 22 kids, and then we were at 27 kids the first game of the season against Juarez Lincoln. We had 27 suited up. So I was kind of worried about numbers-wise, but I knew the numbers that I had were really good football players and were going to give me their all and give it to the team. And so having Ethan Jedediah and Zachariah Rios and these guys, they really have pushed this team. It's a senior ball club, you know, by all stretch of the word. We're a senior team, and these guys, they really want to win, and they got to win now. They don't have next year with that opportunity. So, yeah, first game against Juarez Lincoln, we were a little scared, or what are these guys going to bring, and scoring 65 points and holding them to 0. And this is a team that usually gives us a lot of trouble. They've won probably half the games, and we've won the other half. And so it was kind of worrisome at the beginning. But I knew what these kids had, and our expectations are very high of them. And they're still high. You know, we're wanting a district championship out of these guys, and hopefully a good playoff run out of these kids. So nothing's changed just because we didn't get to play last year. I know it was crazy not playing, but we're not expecting anything less from our kids.
You know, in the past, you know, we've seen sometimes the strength is your offense, and then we've seen the strength is your defense. 2 years ago, I think your defense was ahead of your offense when these kids were sophomores. This year, I feel, is it more a balance?
I think we are balanced, and one of the reasons, a lot of those kids play both ways, so they put in the effort on both sides of the ball. I think offensively we're probably a little bit ahead. Our whole offensive line, 4 out of the 5 are seniors, so I think on the offensive side we're probably a little ahead of the defense right now, but putting those guys on defense also, they want to get the ball back, and they want to get off the field, and they want to get back on offense. So I think that helps also. I know a lot of schools don't go with the kids both ways, but I have around at least 4 or 5 kids going both ways right now. And it was because out of necessity early on when I didn't have numbers out. Now I have around 42 varsity players up from the 27. So I've got a little bit more numbers now, but these kids are still putting in their time and their effort on both sides of the ball.
It's what you see in the small schools. So for you're no stranger to these kids playing both ways. So you guys are heading into the bye week. You know, last week we talked with Coach Guess and what exactly they go through a bye week. So with what you can share, what does a bye week entail for the Bobcats?
Really just I'll give them Monday off. I give them that Saturday off. So they were off the day after the game when we played Rivetta. And then Monday we watch film with them, lifted them, watch film, and then we go into practice Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and we'll have our regular practices. And our Monday, Wednesday, and Friday during athletics, we lift weights. So it's really just almost a regular week. On Thursdays we usually do walkthroughs, and during this week we'll have a regular practice. And I'll give them off on Friday so that they can be with their families. They'll be off Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. So then when we get back to school, get back to work on Monday, they'll be fresh and ready to go.
And you guys are going to be going up against Ingleside. Right? At Ingleside, correct?
No, we're playing home.
You're at home. Are they still running that nasty slot?
They are. No, they are now in more of a nasty with some spread. So they're not predominantly a nasty team, but they do run a form of a run offense. They don't run the true nasty slot, but they are in a wing, like a wing T. I guess it would be more of a wing T formation. But they do go into spread, a true doubles spread team. So we've been preparing against spread all the time. So to us, the spread part's the easy part. It's more difficult for our kids to line up in that nasty slot and run plays against us than anything else. It's tough. But we're going to face at least 3 teams besides these guys, because we got Rockport, Sinton will run the ball a lot too. Then we have Port Isabel with Tony V. So we've got teams running the nasty slot against us, or some form of the nasty slot. So we're hoping Ingleside prepares us and gets us ready, and we're looking forward to our matchup.
Yeah, and you guys, I mean, you guys played Navarro in the past. They're also in the nasty slot, so there's really no stranger to it for your staff. And prepare.
We went back-to-back teams in the playoffs with nasty slot. Played Aransas Pass nasty slot, then we played Navarro nasty slot. So that was one a weird time where two teams back-to-back were nasty slots.
That's right. Coach Hambrick still the coach at Ingleside?
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Still out there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, last year, they I know they had a little bit of a down year last year, but because of the realignment, we saw you guys join Ingleside, Sinton, Rockport, and it's like, man, it's going to be a tough district. Then COVID comes, and then you guys split. What was it, north and south?
Yes, at one point. Yes, and it ended up that they gave us one playoff because it was going to be us, PI and Raymondville just playing each other.
4 and 3, right?
And they were
4 and 3. 4 in the north, 3 down here. Right.
5 over there.
5.
Yeah,
right.
5 over there because Robstown went over there.
Robstown
we were hoping Robstown would come down with us, and it would have been 4 and 4. Right. They chose to go up there because they were playing football over there. They never stopped. So that was what was so weird for us, that we were dealing with all this COVID down here, and that area of Corpus, or the Coastal Bend area, never really experienced what we were experiencing down here. And so it was tough because those guys were like, we're still playing. I mean, they played every single game, including scrimmages. So I thought this year they'd be a little bit ahead of us where we wanted to be. But after watching my kids come out and the way they came out, and they came out in shape and ready to play football, I'm not worried anymore.
So now I'm sure there's a little bit of a pep in you guys' step, saying now we can have a complete full district schedule, have those non-district games, have schedules. So just how excited are you to be? I mean, it's a tall order. You know, we talked how good Sinton's offensive line is. They're huge. Rockport's always good.
Well, we're just looking forward to it. I mean, win, lose, or draw, we're looking forward to being able to play these 7 more games and make it to the playoffs and hopefully win a district title along the way. But yes, playing Sinton and Rockport, those are 2 of the elite teams over there in the Coastal Bend area. They've been good for a long time. They're very well coached. Both teams are very well coached. So, but we're looking forward to our opportunity to play these guys. You know, we're not going to back down from anybody. So, and we're willing to play anybody. So we're just looking forward to our opportunity, and hopefully we get that opportunity to play our 7 games.
And you guys go from a dramatic jump where it was 4-team district a couple years ago, now to where you guys in this huge district.
Yes, for 2 years everybody made the playoffs, and I really didn't like that setup. And then we jumped from those 4 teams to jump into this 8-team district and into the Coastal Bend area.
Yes.
I still wish and dream they would put us back with the Hidalgos, the big 4As, and just leave us 4As guys alone, because that was really fun playing against Hidalgo and Gruya, and everybody was in our district. Just like in our 32 4A, all the other sports, we play them. So I wish it would go back to that, but I don't think it's ever going to go backwards. It's going to keep going forward. So I think we're going to look into being in this district. If we don't go down to 3A, there's possibility. Numbers at our school are not real high or anything. So the numbers would dictate we may possibly even go to 3A next year.
And that was going to be my next question, because I was talking with Andy Jones, your trainer, that the numbers are just down this year, and it's a theme across the board, but to where you guys could potentially move down to 3A. And that, with the realignment, we got it, in February, coming up this next year. So you kind of answered the question already, but do you maybe anticipate that, a change or at all, maybe in 4A?
I really don't know. I love being in 4A. I've been in 4A the 15 years. This is my 16th year here. But I'm willing to do whatever. You know, having a 4-team district was horrible. Finding non-district games, even having to try to find non-district games for 3 games was very difficult, which is why I ended up with a 6A Rivetta. I ended up with PSJ Memorial. So I ended up with all bigger schools instead of getting my opportunity to play Hidalgo and La Feria and those guys. Everybody had already had games, and those 10-team districts really hurts us also when they put those 10-team districts together, because they're not looking for non-district games. So our hands are really tied when it comes to those non-district games, and which is why Harlingen ends up playing Laredo schools, and I think they played schools over there in Abilene area one year. So it's very difficult to find non-district games. The more they spread us out and the more they make more and more districts, it's getting harder and harder.
So the burning question is, are you going to bring back the ketchup and mustard game, you and St. Joe? That's what we call it, the ketchup and mustard game.
If Tino will play me, my boy Tino said, no, not this time. And he always wants to play. And we've been playing him for years and years. And then all of a sudden, I knew his numbers were going to be, he felt his numbers were going to go down. So we quit playing. But yes, I would love to keep playing them.
That's a fun rivalry. You know,
it is. It was great. But especially with that was really good with Money. Seeing his dad on the sideline, Philip, was really awesome all the time. So for me, playing St. Joe has a lot of good memories.
Ketchup and mustard game.
We
coined it 2 years ago when you guys they came out.
I didn't even know this.
I didn't tell you this.
No.
2 years ago, you guys come out, or St. Joe comes out in all red, and then you guys came out in all yellow.
Oh my God, I forgot about that.
As far as I said, that's a ketchup and mustard game.
Was that the game we came back on them or no?
At the goal line, you held them at the goal line, I think.
For the win? Well, we were down, I think 28-0 in the first quarter.
Something
was it that
like
game?
that, yeah.
Might have been that
I think
game.
was a sophomore. Or these boys were all sophomores at that time. I think was it Matt Trevino was your quarterback?
Matt, yeah. That would have probably been my.
Had to have been his senior year because before it was.
Well, his senior year would have been last year, and then he would have been junior.
So was it Josiah?
So him and Zechariah. It had to be with Josiah, I think. That year where we came back on him. We were down 28-0 in the first quarter, and we came back and won. And we held him at the end of the game.
Right.
In St. Joe.
At St. Joe, that's right.
Yeah, Tino still hates that day. Hates that memory.
Sure he does. I'm sure he does. You talked to the Ortega boys? Joey and Josiah?
And in fact, Joey got married. Already. So
Abby?
I think believes.
Abby Alvarado.
Yes, I believe so.
That was the couple right there.
I believe so. Yeah. So I miss the Ortegas. I had 4 of them in a row. I had 4 of those boys in a row. It was awesome. Being able to coach those kids. I didn't get Jonah his senior year, and he would have been something special too his senior year. So just didn't get the opportunity.
And then we've seen Tyler Bush still keep it up in shape.
Tyler Bush. I know. I see one of my kids sends me pictures of Tyler, and Tyler is huge. And Eric Pisado's doing just unbelievable over there at Lamar, yeah. Lamar University. And actually, I hired his father. His father is my girls' head coach now, softball coach, and coaching freshman football. Right. So I'm keeping that family around here. They got a daughter named Free coming along, so Free will be playing for us. Next year, she'll be playing for us softball. So very excited for that family. But Eric's been doing a great job, and very, very proud of him.
I know Ty Reiner. Ty Reiner's still playing.
Yes, his senior year.
He's right at TLU still?
He's a senior year. Yeah, he's a big old boy. We saw some pictures on Facebook. My son sends me, and a big old boy, and he's starting his senior year, so very happy for him also.
Definitely. So, Coach, thanks for joining us. Coach Rocky James of the Rio Hondo Bobcats. Any shout-outs, any thank yous that you want to do?
I'd like to thank my whole school, my principal, Asael Rubalcaba, my superintendent, Roger Ellis, our school board. Thank you all for all the opportunities you give us there in Rio Hondo and for all the support you've shown us through all these years. But just want to thank all of y'all, and that's it. Thank you.
If there is one principal that has more swag than Mr. R, tell me, because he posted a picture of his Jordans. They're like black and yellow Jordans.
I say he loves Jordans, and on Fridays he wears his Jordans with his suit and his tie and everything. Still wears his Jordans. So. Yes, great guy, very supportive of and does push-ups every time we score at home. He'll do push-ups. So when we got to 49, he finally gave up. When we got to 49 the other night, so he gave up on us. But great guy, great person, and really, really loves the Bobcats. So very happy.
Coach Rocky James, we're gonna have one more special guest on the other side of the break. You're watching Real Sports Live.
Island. Be sure to book your place to stay with Island Services. Locally owned for over 40 years. Trusted, reliable for condo and beach house rentals. Call and visit the website today. Island Services.
We are the Harlingen Cardinals, and you're watching Real Sports Live.
Hi, I'm Rodo Rodriguez, and I'm a partner with New York Life Insurance Company. For 170 years, New York Life has built a reputation for building some of the finest agents in the industry. I help to manage that process from day one. If you're looking to challenge yourself and build an insurance and financial service business, then I would like to show you how I can help.
We are those Red Nose Lady Falcons, and this is Real Sports Live.
Aquí, en la Universidad de Texas A&M Kingsville, somos una familia. Nosotros nos apoyamos. Trabajamos juntos. Crecemos juntos. triunfamos juntos. Nos inspiramos los unos a los otros para convertirnos en las grandes mentes del futuro. Estamos aquí para asegurarnos que tú triunfes. Aplica hoy para empezar. Es tu momento.
The Brownsville Independent School District continues to provide a safe environment for enriching education. From pre-K3 to early college high school, the award-winning district has advanced its legacy in curriculum, athletics, and fine arts. Teachers are driving the frontier of technology, bringing industry to the classroom. On and off the field, Brownsville ISD students engage in the experiences that make them college and career ready. Brownsville Independent School District, the best choice.
And he throws it down. Hey! See you later, touchdown.
And Luke for your Motors, we're moving forward. Same great service, same great people, same great cars and trucks, and these great white letters. Our vision is crystal clear. Luke for your Motors, we're on the move.
We're the Lady Cougars and you're watching Real Sports Live.
Here at Texas A&M University, Kingsville, we are a family. We support each other through thick and thin. We work together, grow together, excel together. We inspire each other to become the great minds of the future. We are here to ensure you succeed. Apply today to get started. This is your time.
It down. Hey! See you later, touchdown.
I love what I do. I really
love what
do.
I'm doing. I love children. One of the most important things to do is to love your students.
Imagine teachers like these helping your child prepare to change the world. Take a closer look at Mission CISD.
We're the Holland and South Lady Hawks and you're watching Real Sports Live. Hawks up!
Welcome back to Real Sports Live. Kevin Arrow here, joined by the sales director of the Cadillac, Tony Lopez, at Luke Faria Motors in beautiful Brownsville, Texas. Quick shout out to Coach Kelley Lee for joining us on our show earlier today of Brownsville Veterans, and Coach Rocky James, who also just joined us over from Rio Hondo. So Tony Lopez, welcome aboard.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
So, go ahead.
Well, no, just looking forward to this season in every way, shape, and form. It's good to have football back, especially Friday Night Lights. Going to see them, whether it's a good game or a bad game, it's such a blessing to be out there and seeing everybody out there, staying safe, of course, and making sure that they're all doing precautions to do all that stuff. But I'm excited about the season.
So, Cadillac, right?
Cadillac.
Talk to us.
Cadillac is actually a brand that is moving up by leaps and bounds. The way we do business, the way we take care of our customers, our reputation, and our brand is very important. So right now they have a thing called Shop, Click, Drive, where you don't even have to come into the store to buy your vehicle. You go in there, you shop, you click, you drive. We can even do all the credit, all the information over the phone. We can do it over the internet, and then all you have to do is sign 4 or 5 different times, and that is the only contact you have. So we are all about being COVID safe. My heart goes out to people that are suffering from the situation, but it's also good to know that everybody's taking precaution to take care of everybody around them.
So what specials do you guys have going on right now?
This is a special that we have. Right now it's weird times. Inventory is really low. They have a lot of people that are kind of trying to take advantage of the situation, which we don't believe in, by overpricing vehicles and pricing it over MSRP. I can assure you that here at Luke Faria Motors Cadillac in Brownsville, we do not pick up the price 1 penny. We want to make sure that we take care of our customers during good times, during bad times. So when we come to good times again, everybody remembers.
So our trivia question, we have, you guys are always kind enough to get us a gift for the fans.
Free swag right there, brother.
Free swag, absolutely. You know, you guys had a bucket hat a couple weeks ago.
Oh, yeah.
That was a pretty hot item.
Felicia Freya Edge, she's in charge of all of our advertising, and she's also our vice president, comes up with these real great ideas to first of all, show our customers that we do appreciate them and always try to bring in new customers to our store. That's one of our swags, and we're also backing up Relámpago, Omar Juarez. He's our champion. He's going to be fighting on Saturday at 7:30 on FS1 on Fox. Now, this guy is a beast. Now, I want y'all to do me a favor, and if you can see the free advertisement on his trunks, I want you to send us a shout-out. The first one that does give us a shout-out is going to get one of these T-shirts right over here. It's all about supporting our local athletes, our local kids, our local businesses. We like to make sure that we keep it hashtag shop local. We want you to shop local for cars and for coffee and for stuff and for food. We have so many great businesses down here, and we want to support them every chance we get. Every once in a while, we have a little, we call it a garage sale here at Freya in our showroom floor. We invite all of our businesses that are part of our Freya family, as well as new ones, for our customers to come in and enjoy all what they have to offer. And it just brings out the community, and it brings out people helping people. And that's what we do here at Freya Cadillac.
So the trivia question is, name the, in honor of Coach Rocky James being here, name the Rio Hondo Bobcat that went on to play in the NFL, even played in a Super Bowl.
He did. As a matter of fact, he did.
So leave a comment and you win Starbucks. This is a coffee deal with a mug. It's, brought to you by Luke Freya.
There you go.
Right there. So leave a comment in the Facebook, and you can win this nice little coffee 1-2 punch here. Last week was was it a flask?
It was a crazy flask, a little tumbler we had.
Pretty neat.
I think it was a Yeti, and then the other time they had like a real nice cutting board.
Yeah.
But we're saving the big ones for the Cowboy trivia questions. The Dallas Cowboys look absolutely amazing this year. We're all excited, and I'm not one of those delusional fans. I promise you that. This is our year. We were just talking about earlier. You said, you know what, Tony, we came close on that last game and we lost, and I've never felt so good about a loss. If that makes any sense. They look so good. It is Cowboy Nation time. How about them boys? Let's go.
I love it. I love the Cowboys.
I do too.
Ride or die. It's in my blood.
I love it. I'll tell you, when I was little, my dad was a big Cowboy fan, and I said, well, I want to be a Steeler fan, because when I was young, 3 years old, I thought Steeler meant he stole stuff. So Cowboys and Steelers, kind of a thing. But I became a Cowboy fan. I'm a big Dak Prescott fan. I'm a huge McCartney fan. And, of course, Jerry Jones, the legend. It's amazing.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Me growing up, Michael Irvin was my favorite.
Wow.
Favorite
Superman.
Cowboy.
The first
Playmaker.
Superman. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So I understand you are from Los Fresnos, correct?
From Brownsville and Los Fresnos, both. Okay. My dad was a police chief there for about 10 years. I came to school here at different high schools. Pace was one of them. And then I ended up transferring over to Los Fresnos. And my dad being close by was helpful, because when you're young, you want to have fun. But going to that school really gave me guidance and direction. And they were strict to a point where it was so helpful that I ended up graduating over there and doing much better than I did because I had that presence. So I love the school district. They do an outstanding job. My son went there and he graduated in 2016. But my girls go to one goes to Hannah and one goes to Stillman. We have a lot of nephews and nieces that go to our idea schools, and those idea schools are amazing too. I mean, I think it's like 99% graduating. So they do an outstanding job, pretty much all of our districts over here.
Like we were talking with Coach Kelley Lee, that Brownsville, for those that don't know, is the biggest district in the region.
Yep.
So there's plenty of schools, plenty of athletics, 6 high schools, and then you include St. Joe as a 7th, and then I'll go on with the idea schools. But you were going on and on about the basketball, and I know basketball is huge here. I know Prince last week was going on about the soccer.
We've had some amazing soccer teams that actually have gone and won state, so obviously that's kudos to them, and it's a huge following and fans. But here in Brownsville, football is huge. Everywhere, football is huge, but basketball in Brownsville is life. It really was. Back when I was there in 94, it was a house of pain. It was Hannah versus Pace, and Harlingen South and Harlingen, when Harlingen was one school. So it was just such a great basketball tradition and atmosphere, and everybody getting involved, that we had some major talent. I mean, we have legends, just like every other city out there, like Brooklyn and everybody. We had legends here. The guys that actually went over to Olivetta Park, there were just absolute monsters in the basketball court and averaging 30, 40 points. So I always like to say that we have a lot of untapped resources here in Brownsville. I think that we have a lot more to offer, and I think with social media and the platforms they give us, it gives us a bigger voice. And I'm going to see a lot more, and I hope to see a lot more of Brownsville out there and spreading out their wings.
And did you play athletics at all?
I was in basketball, and I'll tell you a story about basketball. So basketball, I like to say that I didn't know I needed glasses for a long time, so that's why I missed a bunch of shots, but I had a good shot. I was a great neighborhood basketball player. I was a legend in the neighborhoods. But you put me in a game, and all of a sudden I just started to shake and rattle and roll, and I wanted to foul out and get out of there as quick as I could. I had one amazing game. Not gonna lie to you. It's like Al Bundy from Married with Children. Back in my day in Pokai. No, I had one amazing game. 25 points I scored. I did amazing. I was so excited. I could not believe it. I could not wait for the next game. Finally, I got my breakout game. Go to the coach. Coach says, hey, Tony, you got a 69 in history. So you're not going to be able to play basketball anymore. So I'm going to tell you right now, academics held this legend back. I want you to know that. So, no, it was great. Good times, bro. Good times.
Before you go, have you been keeping up? Do you go to Sam's often, or would you keep in the football?
We do Sam's. My daughter, her name is Victoria Lopez. She's a strutter. She's actually the colonel for the strutters in Hannah.
Okay, cool.
So we go there, and don't get me wrong, Hannah football is doing great. They had an amazing comeback last week.
I was there.
Oh, my God. Amazing. It was legendary. But we always go for the halftime show, and that's my daughter and her strutters doing their dance and showing the talent down here in Brownsville, because they go up and compete, man, and they beat big schools in San Antonio and all these competitions. So we have a lot of talent. So shout out to the Hannah Strutters, and shout out to the Hannah football team.
We're actually heading that way tomorrow. They're going to be playing against Corpus Christi Miller.
That's right. Yeah.
I'm assuming they're.
She's going. Yeah, she's going, but she's not going to go. They're not going to perform. They're kind of cutting back on the performances when it's far away. Okay. But we are going to go and support for sure. So we'll probably see you out there.
Yeah, well, we'll have the game on live for the Hannah fans. Kickoff is at 7. They got a tough one. Are you familiar with Miller?
They are. Miller's always been. I went to Los Fresnos, and I was in the football team, and we got to playoffs, and we got beat by Miller. I remember back in 1995. So they've always had a great, big, huge amount of size and girth compared to us. But our guys over here, man, they're resilient. I wouldn't be surprised if we pulled off the upset.
Yeah, Anthony Ambriz. He's a stud. And
big time.
He's gonna have his work cut out for him against Lonnie Atkinson.
Oh yeah, their defense is amazing. Their offense has a lot to they offer a lot. It's going to be interesting for sure. Mm-hmm.
Definitely. That's Tony Lopez, the director of sales here in the Cadillac department. So, any final pitches you want to give? I want
to reemphasize the fact that we're doing, the contact-free driving or the contract-free sales process here at Luke Freya Motors in Brownsville. We're a big supporter of local organizations. We're a big supporter of people who are customers of ours too, and we want to make sure we make our family bigger. So, give us an opportunity, and don't have us be the first choice, and then you go and compare. Bring your best deal to us, and we'll beat it. I promise you that. Give us an opportunity here at Freya Cadillac, and we won't let you down.
So again, the trivia question: name the Rio Hondo Bobcat that went on to the NFL, played in a Super Bowl. Leave a comment, and you win this little 1-2 coffee puncher from Starbucks and from Luke Freya Motors, little coffee mug there. Tony, thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Oh, there we go.
Can shake hands.
There we go.
Cool.
Yeah, we're vaccinated. There we go. Awesome.
On the other side of the break, myself, John, and Ruben are going to wrap things up. You're watching Real Sports Live.
Service is attitude. How far are we willing to go to service our community, our dealership here at Freya, and you? Sky's the limit.
We're the Red Texans, and you're watching Real Sports Live.
Josh Moody and Coach Rolly Gonzalez of Josh Moody Loans are former Harlingen Cardinals and would like to wish all the teams good luck in tonight's games.
At HCISD, we embrace the future.
We learn to communicate.
At HCISD, we put our best foot forward.
At HCISD, we
make noise! At HCISD, we learn that the smallest of moments can make the deepest impressions.
At HCISD, we are creating the future together.
We are Santa Rosa, and you're watching Real Sports Live.
Welcome back to Luke Freya Motors as we are going to wrap up our show. Week 4, we've been spending our time here at Luke Freya Motors. A special shout out to Tony Lopez, the sales director of the Cadillac, Coach Rocky James, and Coach Kelley Lee from Brownsville Veterans. So we're going to wrap things up with our broadcast schedule. What's to come tomorrow night on a Thursday? We're going to have Corpus Christi Veterans taking on Victoria East. That game at Cabinets. Brownsville Hannah on the road taking on Corpus Christi Miller. That game is at Buck. Nicky Rowe at Brownsville Pace. La Jolla at Edinburgh Vela. And then into Friday's slate of games, we have Gregory Portland at Corpus Christi Carroll. Corpus Christi Ray taking on Corpus Christi Moody. Monte Alto at La Villa. Edinburgh North taking on Mission. That game at Hidalgo. Edinburgh High taking on Edinburgh Economides. Santa Maria at Lyford. Toloso Midway at La Feria. McAllen Memorial at Brownsville Lopez. And that is our Friday football schedule for both Thursday and Friday. So Thursday night, tomorrow, I'll be up at Buck for the Hannah Miller game. You will be down in Edinburgh for Vela La Jolla. You will be down over at Sam's. So starting with you, John, looking forward to tomorrow with La Jolla and Edinburgh Vela on 31-6A.
Yeah, that Vela offense, that Vela team in general, coming off a big win over PSG North. They're in a spot right now where it's their table to run in that district. Being realistic, they can't look past La Jolla because you never know with La Jolla. There's some years where they're extremely scrappy, and they'll always have that one upset win per year.
Mm-hmm.
So you can never look past an opponent like that. La Jolla's going to have their work cut out for them. Vela's a very well-rounded team, great offense, great defense. It should be a good one tomorrow.
Yeah, and they, Coach Kelley Lee was here earlier talking about the run offense. They run an option offense. They'll throw, but they're primarily on the ground game. So that's one to keep an eye on. For you, Ruben, you'll be down over at Sam's. You have Nicky Rowe and Brownsville Pace.
It's going to be a big one in 16-5A Division 1. You got Nicky Rowe coming off a big win against Lopez. Pace coming off a big win against Porter. Both teams 2-1 in district play. So it's an overall season. Both teams are 1-0 in district play. It's just going to be a great one, and I'm looking forward to it. It's going to have a QB battle. We're going to have a QB battle, so I'm just really hyped for that one.
So I'm just excited for tomorrow. Miller are going to be at home against Hannah. A good road test for the Eagles. They're coming off a bye week. Previous to that, they had that comeback win against Sherryland. And I think this is the big test. Will be, that matchup with Lonnie Atkinson and Anthony Ambris, and then, Josh Vela at the quarterback position. How can he go against, Deshaun Bisbee, who's a big defensive tackle along the defensive line. Ethan Greenwood at running back for Miller. He's a big boy. He's going to be hard to tackle, so it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a very good road test for Hannah when they get ready for district play the following week. So rolling into Friday night, you'll be back at Sam's. So what are you looking forward to there?
That one's going to have another big one. We're going to have McAllen Memorial taking on Brownsville Lopez. Lopez coming off a loss against Nicky Rowe, looking to turn things around, but they have a huge test on at home as they take on McAllen Memorial. We know in Seattle, we've had the tough. McAllen Memorial has been known to be a tough team in recent years, so this is going to be a pretty big test. See if Lopez can try to bounce back from a loss last week and try to turn things around.
You and I will be down over at Hidalgo, and that's I think this game, you look at it, again, there's no hiding it. There's no secret. I think right now we're looking at Edinburgh Vela, PSG North, Mission, Edinburgh North, and then you're going to have La Jolla and Edinburgh High, in my opinion, fighting for those last two spots. I think this is a 3-4 game for Edinburgh North and Mission when you look back at the season and say North got in because of this win, Mission got third because of this win.
Yeah, no, this is a big one, but due to some injuries from some other teams, this could bump the team into a 2 spot.
Potentially, right, potentially.
But this is a huge one for both sides. They're both 1-0 in district. Edinburgh North 2-1. Only losses to a really good Mercedes team, which I was able to cover that game. And even then, North looked pretty good. They just couldn't find the end zone. Yeah. They got down in the red zone about 5 times, but only punched in twice. So, look for them to clean up the mistakes. And their quick game is going to be what's going to be huge for them.
All right, so that game will be at Hidalgo again. Mission Veterans not having home games. So again, before we wrap up, just to run down our schedule: Thursday night, tomorrow night, Corpus Christi Veterans taking on Victoria East at Cabinets. Brownsville Hannah at Corpus Christi Miller. That game at Buck. Nicky Rowe taking on Pace at Sam's. La Jolla taking on Edinburgh Vela at Richard Flores Stadium. Rolling into Friday night, Gregory Portland taking on Corpus Christi Carroll at Buck. Ray and Moody will meet at Cabinets. Monte Alto at La Villa. Edinburgh North at Mission, again at Hidalgo. Edinburgh High at Edinburgh Economides. Santa Maria at Lyford. Toloso Midway at La Feria. McAllen Memorial at Brownsville Lopez. And that is our week 4 schedule. So, guys, hopefully you enjoyed the show. Again, special shout out to Tony Lopez, Rocky James, and Coach Kelley Lee for taking the time to join us here on our show. Shout out to Rudy Zamaripa Jr. back there with the switcher and manning the cameras. Ruben Rodriguez, John Trevino, Kevin Haro, and on behalf of myself and everybody at Rio Sports Live, saying so long for now from Brownsville.